What's up, everybody? This is Do That But Better. I'm Eric, and next to me is my brother Zach.
Boom.
The cheesiest smile ever.
That's just my normal smile.
How's it going, Zach?
I'm doing awesome. So how was your holiday?
It was great. We had some nice weather. Got to be outside for some egg hunts. Saw some people. Ate some food. Now we're just trying to recover. Our church got 2,000 eggs for
Oh
an egg
man.
hunt with about like 40 kids. So you do the math, it's like, I don't know what it is.
Everybody gets at least six.
Yeah. Just picture like grocery bags
Yeah.
filled all the way to the top.
Holy cow.
Literally, Josie couldn't, she's like struggling to carry her bag. It's overflowing with eggs. Like, what are we doing?
That is insane.
Yeah.
I can't
So,
imagine just putting 2,000 out. I can't imagine dropping 2,000.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
the kids had a great time.
Yeah.
Now it's like while they're sleeping, handfuls of candy removed from the bags.
That's awesome. We just got snow yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're back to winter and it's looking like 80 this weekend, I think.
yep, that's us today. It was like 60s yesterday, 80 today.
That's crazy.
I am pumped. Yep.
Yeah, and actually this weekend, so I have quarterfinals. So me and Kevin Wagner are doing the 40 to 44 age group quarterfinals, and we've actually got a whole bunch. So Natalie's going out of town, and we got opening day for kids baseball, softball, and I mean all kinds of stuff. It's going to be busy and it's supposed to be beautiful. So that's
Yep.
fantastic.
Teamwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So today, uh, we recognize people watching this, people in the gym are all in different places as far as, your fitness journey.
Hmm.
And the same advice doesn't always apply exactly to people at different places.
Hmm.
Um, once you've been in for, well, if you've been at the gym consistently for a month, you're thinking about different things than someone who's been there for 3 years.
Hmm.
And so, like, what are the main things that we need to think about, um, depending on where you're at? So, as you go through those phases of like starting at the gym to being consistent to like, this is my lifestyle and I want to go farther, what are the different things to think about? So, we're going to do that today, starting off with the brand new person. So, if you're just getting started in the gym, what are some problems that you might run into and some solutions for those?
Yeah. Well, I would say that when you get started, the first thing that people do is they're looking to do everything. And they're like, all right, just give me what all I need to do is know what to do. And actually, Natalie always gets this with teaching math. If you just give me the formula, I can do it. And it's like, no, you don't know when to use the formula. And so it's start small. And, starting with, you know, well, so if we start with exercise, right? I don't even care how good you're doing it. Can you do it X amount of days per week? And
Hmm.
we need to start there. And it's like, all right, did I come into the gym 3 days a week? Or do I have to start with 2 days a week? And we need to start with this little thing. And usually people are like, all right, I got exercise. I'm going to do it 5 days a week. I'm going to cut out all carbs and I'm not going to eat any sugar and whatever it is. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You haven't even made it into the gym yet.
Yep.
Let's start focusing on this. And because when you're starting, you are starting new habits. And it is really hard to start a new habit. You have all kinds of things that you unconsciously do. Like just when you wake up in the morning, you start walking to the door, you scratch your butt 3 times, then you go to the bathroom, and you don't even know that you do it, but people watching you know. We
Yep.
used to. I had a captain at, or actually he was my lieutenant at the time, who every day, like the shift that was coming off, they would watch out the window, and he had an old like conversion van, and he would he would come out with his coffee, and he'd mope on over. He'd go to the back of the conversion van. He'd put his cup down on the bumper. He'd take his bag out, and then he'd close the door. And like he did it exactly the same every single day, and everyone would just die laughing. And he would, "What are you laughing at?" And nothing, nothing, Brian. But these are the things that we don't understand. And now, if you put a different place that you go to multiple times a week, this is going to cause a total disruption in everything that you do, and it's a lot harder than you think.
Yep. Yeah, you are creating a new normal, and your old normal really wants to stay your current normal.
Hmm.
Making that change to your schedule, to your routine, and you'll start, things might come up that you didn't realize you really liked, that you
Hmm.
cut, if you start going to the gym in the morning, maybe your breakfast routine changes. And now you're like, man, I really miss whatever I used to do. And now you're not going to go to the gym because it cut out that thing that you really like. So then it's like, okay, I need to shift my schedule so I can go at a different time or figure out how to fit that old thing. Like there are a lot of things that change. Also, trying to do a ton burns you out. I was just talking with the guys in my time management program for dads,
Hmm.
which we're starting a new group soon. So if anyone's interested, hit me up.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Um,
so yeah, where can they find that?
Eric McGathy at Eric McGathy on Instagram.
Cool.
Shoot me a message or on Facebook. Um, One of the guys, he said he wants to be able to do push-ups to the Moby song Flowers. Bring Sally up, bring Sally down.
Mm.
And I asked, okay, so what's keeping you from doing that? Pain. I'm like, shoulder pain? Like, no, just muscle soreness. I'm like, okay, do you want to do that today? Or do you want to do that in like 2 months? Be able to
Mm.
make it through the whole song. Because if you want to do it today, it's going to be extremely painful and you're only going to be able to do it once a month. But if you have a plan and be like, okay, that's what I want to do down the line, now I can do more exercise each day and each week to get to that goal. So when that brand new person walks in the gym and you're like, I'm going 5 days a week and I'm doing exactly what it says on the board, you're only going to be able to come in once a week because you'll be so sore and so worn out.
Hmm.
And so that, and that now you're not consistent. Now you're not enjoying it. So going in, starting small, like you said, um, being happy with getting a sweat and learning the movements, that's the biggest key. Because again, like you said, the best thing you can do is be consistent. And if you
Hmm.
are super sore, you will not be consistent. You can't be because it hurts.
Right. I love that you said that, just be happy with learning the movements, because I think that when we start this new thing, number one, you believe in it, right? And so you go, I've got the ticket, I've got the
Hmm.
magic pill. And the magic pill isn't necessarily CrossFit or just being at a CrossFit gym or doing whatever the heck else you're doing, but it is doing it well, right? So that's the magic pill. And so you go, all right, um, I mean, let's just take basketball, for instance. You go, all right, how do you shoot? And it's like, all right, hey, you're gonna have your elbow up, go on through the steps.
Beef,
and
balance,
and
eyes, elbow, follow through.
it, yes, exactly. And now, uh, it, but guess what? You don't have it yet. And
Right.
even if you're a good shooter, you're still messing it up.
Hmm.
And I think that everyone has to take that into account, that I'm going to be messing this thing up. And even if I'm going to the place and I'm being consistent, I'm screwing things up. I
Yep.
might be getting better, you know, and it's okay to screw stuff up. You know, if I give somebody a baseball, if I give my kid a baseball, I'm going to have them throw it and they're going to practice and do it consistently every day. And they're going to do it really crappy. and but those are the things that you need to do. And as you're learning these new habits, you need to uh, take that into account that I'm not just doing it, I'm learning how to do it. And every step,
Hmm.
that never stops because your life is going to change. You're going to have different schedules at work. All of a sudden, you have a kid, and I mean, the list goes on of how do I make this work and make sure that this is a habit that I'm consistent with
Hmm.
for the long term.
Yep. Yeah, and that oh, what was I just about to say? Oh, going into it like with the mentality of, it doesn't always have to be I have no clue what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the mentality of like I I'm here to learn. Like, you know, it's I can think of times in my life where I went into something and maybe I even knew some about it,
Mm-hmm.
but went in and be like, I have no clue. Like I'm brand new. I have no idea what's going on. Just teach me. And that's for one thing, it's so much more fun to just be
Mm-hmm.
like the idiot in the room and let everyone else show you what to do. And it's a lot easier to learn stuff
Oh
because
yeah,
you aren't trying to demonstrate how much you know. You're demonstrating how much you don't know and how much you can learn. And it is so much more fun. You take yourself way less seriously, right? And you have much more opportunity to learn.
yeah. I totally I totally screwed this up, and I was getting like weightlifting coaching from Travis Mash, who he is like now he is like one of the best in the world training kids and like just our youth Olympic team and all that kind of stuff. And I
Mm,
remember asking questions, but my questions already started with "I know this," and like when I look back, I'm like, I limited myself so much because I didn't just ask, "How do I do this?" or
mm,
um, you know, tell me what I can do. And you know, assuming that and I think that it's very easy for adults. The older you get, the more that you think that you understand things, even if you don't have like a solid knowledge of it. We feel that we understand things, and I honestly think that it comes from uh, we feel that we are grown. we so now we know how life works.
mm,
And I'll tell you what, just when you have a group of people in a class and you have them, um, they are, let's say that we're going to try and clean, and they're having trouble extending their hips, so squeezing their butt, and you go jump, and let me move back. Oh, let me see if I can get in here, and people do this, and it's like that's literally how you think that you jump, right? And they start going like, well, jump how? It's like, what do you mean jump out? Just jump. And so uh like they're thinking that you have a specific thing that you want them to do, and all you wanted them to do was jump. And you go
Yep.
jump as high as you can. If you get a little kid and you say jump as high as you can, they try and touch the ceiling. But
Mm.
adults do the little thing, is that the right jump? Right? And it's like, man, we have to get into that mindset that we don't know anything. Try not to equate this to that other thing yet.
Yeah,
Just listen to it for what it is.
that's what I was thinking. Is we make inferences of
Mm-hmm.
like you make these logical jumps that you think are logical of like I know this, and now yeah, so this is probably what they mean. This is probably what I should do. Seth, our third brother, just posted a video on this, I think yesterday. A guy was asking people, he said, okay, I've got a rule in my mind. I'm going to give you three numbers that follow my rule. And then I want you to give me three numbers back and keep doing it until you figure out what the rule is. So he gave them 2, 4, 8. And so then people are like, okay, 8, 16, 32. He's like, that follows my rule. And so they keep doing it. And they're like, okay, so is the rule multiplied by 2? No, that's not the rule. But they kept giving him numbers that were just multiplied by 2 until he was like, okay, you understand that follows the rule, but that's not the rule,
Mm.
right? Until someone started asking, okay, what about like 5, 6, 7? Yes, that follows the rule. And then finally, someone's like 10, 9, 8. That does not follow the rule. And the rule was just numbers in ascending order. But
Ah,
because he gave them 2, 4, 8, everyone just kept giving him, okay, 10, 20, 40. Like, yes, that follows the rule. Because they were still following the same single thing that they found that follows the rule. So I'll just keep doing that.
oh, that's interesting.
Right. And so I think when we walk into the gym, same thing. Like you've got these assumptions that you're already living inside of, and you're applying them to everything. And you have to recognize, like, I don't know anything. You have to be willing to know nothing so that you can learn all of the new the new options that are out there.
Right. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and when you are doing this stuff, when you are starting to learn, celebrate your wins. And I think that this is huge because people who walk in and they're new to whether it's CrossFit or just exercise in general or a piece of CrossFit, we see what other people are doing and we start comparing. And you come in and let's say that I was able to come in for 3 days for 4 weeks in a row. That's a huge win,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that wasn't even, hey, I made more progress on my mile time. It wasn't, I did more pull ups. But all of those things, even if somebody else is doing five, well, I'm only doing 3 days a week. It's like, big deal. You were doing 0 days a week, and that was, I had to do the math, 12 days. That's 12 more days. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
And so finding those little things and celebrate them like childbirth. And that whenever we have somebody who does, and actually even when you do something physical, you go, hey, I wasn't able to do a pull up and now I can. Or actually, we just had somebody today, and they've been here for maybe a couple months, and they said this was the first time that I didn't have to like sit down during this workout or like during a workout. And actually, before the workout, they actually even told me, they're like, I'm going to go slower. And I was like, yeah, I've been telling you that. I'm like, pace this out. We're going to be working for 12 minutes. And I would rather you like be able to work that whole time slower than
Mm-hmm.
work 30 seconds and then take 4 minutes rest. Right. And so and we celebrated that. We're like, look, you just made a huge step towards progress, and guess what, it is going to be more fun because you just learned this thing about how to work for a certain amount of time, and that is
Totally.
going to be pushing you more than if you did more weight or if you did more rounds or whatever it was. And
The pacing mindset shift is huge.
oh,
Oh
so
man,
big.
changes everything.
Yeah, that's one thing that I sort of wish that I would have had somebody tell me. And actually, I feel like a lot of things end up, it was said, I didn't understand it yet.
Yeah.
you know, but when you are coming in, I think that you have to look at it and just go, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to because I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing this. And
Yeah.
uh, if it's not fun, I don't know how many people come in and actually right along that same line is intensity, intensity, intensity. People want to just push, and it makes you feel good when you feel like you worked really hard. And I
Mm-hmm.
do want you to work really hard. Um, but if you are putting bars down and like, oh, F and oh, come on. It's like, man, what are you doing? Right. So like, what kind of competition is this? And what did you expect?
Yeah.
Right. Did you expect to do these 50 pull-ups unbroken? Right. You got 50 pull-ups on the board and you're like, all right. And you get three and you're like, ah, and it's like, whoa, what were you expecting in this workout? How many did
Right.
you think you were going to be able to do when you're doing 50 in a row? And I think that just enjoying it, yeah, and pacing that out, which
Mm.
that's starting small, then be consistent. And now you're making lots of progress, and it's going to set you up in the end for a lot of success.
Yeah. And really, I feel like so being consistent and having that learning mindset,
Mhm.
those are, I think those are the two most important habits, like thought habits to have when you start out. Because if you build those when you start out, that's your foundation for all of these other things. Like
Right.
as you do this for longer, those two things are going to keep you going.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now you are consistent. You're moving along, and you get to a year. Uh, where How does your mindset shift uh, going into a year?
Well, I think at that point, uh, you've got an idea of what you're good at and what you're not good at, right? You've
Hmm.
probably done some benchmark workouts, probably starting to repeat some benchmark workouts and seeing, okay, I love deadlifting. I really hate running. I hate the rower or whatever it is, and so this is the time where you probably hit a threshold, hit a plateau, and recognizing the goats,
Hmm.
uh, that's that's where you're going to make the most progress now.
Hmm.
Because right, you can see what's holding you back, and again, it's that humility of wanting to learn, of taking the time away from, or not necessarily taking time away from the things that you're good at, but putting time and effort and focus into the things that you can improve in.
Right. Yeah, and I think that if we're looking at these things, so we've got our 10 general physical skills. We've got strength and endurance and stamina, speed, coordination, agility, balance, flexibility. I forgot where I started and where I didn't, but you've got all those things. And like you said, you're going to be looking at things and going, all right, yeah. Every time that a run comes up, I'm like, oh crap. Or every time a heavy weight comes up, oh crap.
Hmm.
When it's pistols or any of those kind of things. And we always want to go back to that theoretical hierarchy of the development of an athlete. And we go, all right, number one, how is my nutrition? Then how is my metabolic conditioning or like my cardio, gymnastics, weightlifting, and then applying that to everything that we're doing.
Hmm.
And we, I think that this is a great time to really dial in to the things outside of the gym. So, am I eating well? Right? What does my nutrition look like? So, did my progress stop? Whether it's my performance, is it weight loss? Is it weight gain that I want? Um, what is it that I'm looking at? And um, you know, I know that it sounds weird to be saying that, hey, this is when we should really start looking into nutrition, because I feel like that is the first thing, right? Because that is
Hmm.
the first thing. But when it comes, most people they're not necessarily ready to change that very quickly.
Yep.
And it's like, get consistent in the gym. Are you working out? Are you exercising? And if you're doing that, you're going to be on a pretty good spot, right?
Yep.
And you're probably making small shifts. I think that people just eat a little bit better when they are exercising because they're like, I don't want to ruin what I did. So they're making better conscious decisions. But now you can really start dialing this in and go, all right, here's what I like to do. Maybe now I really want to work on losing weight, and I want to. Maybe I was losing weight, but I hit a plateau. And now, oh,
Hmm.
maybe instead of just eating quality food, I'm going to start weighing and measuring. I'm going to start looking into how much am I eating, and we can start doing those kind of things. Maybe sleep, right? What are my stressors like, and how do I feel? You know, if I was doing 3 days a week, and maybe I even started upping it to 4 to 5, or whatever you're doing now, and exercise is a part of your life. How am I feeling when I'm doing 5 days a week? And we can start going into those kind of things.
Hmm. Yeah, and so when you first start out, gains are easy. You're going to get stronger every week,
Hmm.
no question, right? You might not lose a ton of body fat depending on what you're eating right away, but you're going to see changes, right? Like
Hmm.
you'll see the traps, you'll see the shoulders, the arms, like there's noticeable difference.
Yeah.
After you've been doing it for a while, once you hit that year mark, you're not going to be adding 5 pounds to your squat or 10 pounds to your squat every week or every month or whatever. Um,
Yeah, you
and
would be
you're
the strongest person in the world.
Yep. And you're not going to see the same like body changes as quickly. And I feel like that plateau, one, means that it has worked,
Hmm.
right? It's not that, oh, this isn't working anymore. It's that it already worked. It got you from zero to like, okay, now I need to focus.
Right.
It's gotten you stronger than everyone else who's just sitting on the couch.
Absolutely.
And then that plateau is the motivation. Like you said, like most people aren't ready to make the big nutritional changes. Um, but once you hit that plateau, it's like, okay, I've felt success and I like it. And now I want more of it. What do I need to do now?
Hmm.
And I feel like that is why like you can't change everything all at once. So
Right.
get consistent in the gym and now once you hit that year mark, what's next? Which, like you said, dialing in some of that nutrition, putting more focus on specific things that you can get better at, whether it's weightlifting, running, whatever. Um, but yeah, use that plateau as the motivation of like, okay, now I kick it into gear.
Well, and like you said, uh, what do I need to work on, like running, weightlifting, whatever. And I think this is a great time to learn and play new sports. And so now you're applying this stuff, and whether it's because that you really need to work on them, like so you're like, man, the Olympic lifts are really killing me every time I do it. Oh, maybe you can focus a little bit more on them, and it's really fun because now you're starting again. Uh, there's a Greg Glassman quote: "Master the basics, and once you have mastered the basics, start again, and this time pay more attention."
Yep.
Right? And uh, but now you can go test yourself. Go do a 5K. Go do your marathon or Spartan races and strongman competition.
Hmm.
All these things, but you can look at those goats. So the things that you're having trouble with, and you can really dial those in so that they are no longer your weakness.
Hmm.
Or you can even start taking your strengths and going, I like to do that more.
Yep.
And really, that's just having more fun.
Yeah.
So whether you're in a newbie or now you're um, getting more specific, have some fun. Make sure that you want to keep coming back. That's one of the great things about CrossFit is because the modalities are so broad. It it's you can always take a little bit of more time on something again. You know, I feel like I was working on, um, handstands and like freestanding handstands, and it was like very gymnasticsy because a lot of it I didn't have. So muscle ups and all that kind of stuff, and then
Hmm.
you're starting to be able to do those, and you're like, all right, what else can I learn? And then I took a lot of time really focusing on Olympic weightlifting, and then there was strongman, and I feel like it's great for that exercise ADD where you're like, man, I'm just sick of running on the treadmill. It's like, all right, stop running on the treadmill, go lift something, go carry
Yep.
something, and now do some body weight stuff. And so you always have something. It's like you're spinning plates, and you've got this one going, and you got to go put a little bit of focus on this other one and keep it going so that they're all continuously moving.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like at this point where like you're a year in, that's where sort of like weekend seminars start coming in
Mm,
of like, try the L1, try a weightlifting seminar, try the aerobic capacity seminar, the
right.
gymnastics, like, and you get, I mean, a weekend, you're drinking from a fire hose, but you've got drills to work on now,
Yeah.
where now before class or after class or at home, you've got some things that you can work on to improve some of those individual pieces of the CrossFit game.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So now you've been in it for a while, and I mean, you've been doing it, I know, for about 12 years. I think
Hmm.
we both started sometime around 2010.
Hmm.
Um, and now, how does that mindset shift?
Well, you start asking yourself, how long can I do this? Or how can I do this so that I can keep doing it?
Hmm.
Um, which, yeah, that longevity is it starts to come into play. And I think specialization of like, I mean, how many people have started CrossFit and now are um, competitive, national level weightlifters, and that's pretty much all they do.
Right.
Or rowing too, like a huge surge in rowing competitions because people are like, oh, this is awesome, and I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
Going out and strongman, right? And so, um, starting to, you know, we said at that 1 year mark, you start trying all these things. After you've been in it for a few years, you may recognize like this is what I want to do. I want to do strongman consistently, and you'll keep that GPP. You definitely want to keep your all of your fitness levels at healthy marks. But yeah, go explore and try specializing in those things that you really enjoy. Go do a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah. Absolutely. And actually, I mean, you've seen lots of CrossFitters do those things. You got Dave Lipson, who's doing Muscle Anarchy and stuff like that. But in all those programs, there is GPP built into it, and
Yep.
so GPP, General Physical Preparedness, which that is the base. That is what CrossFit is about: trying to increase your work capacity in all of those measures of fitness, your endurance, your strength, your speed, your flexibility, etc. And um, it is going to benefit everything. So now maybe instead of doing CrossFit 5 days a week, maybe you're like, you know what? I'm going to do it 2 to 3 days a week and specialize in this thing, because CrossFit will still benefit all of those things.
Hmm.
And so it's never like you need to go, oh man, I'm not going to, unless you are going to like honestly compete, then you might. But I mean, there's still going to be elements of it. So it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I did this, um, bodybuilding competition, but I was doing this going along into it also.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and finding out what you do want to accomplish now. So depending on how old you are, so I think it's different if you're 21, 22 versus whether you're like 30, 40, because you might go, you know what, I want to seriously compete in Spartan races and just mud runs and things like that, or weightlifting. But yeah, when you're thinking about longevity and you're like, I want to be able to play weekend softball and not pull my hamstring, you know, and
Yep.
then it's like, all right, number one, what am I coming in? Like, what is my mindset when I come into the gym? How often do I want to do it, um, so that I can do these other things? What are my responsibilities? And how do I feel when I'm done?
Hmm.
Right. And so if you're not still feeling um, energized when you're done, then it's like, man, maybe I should slow it down a little bit. One of the biggest things that they talk about with masters athletes, like myself, uh, is that the
Master is a strong word.
but is that um, that intensity doesn't have to uh, necessarily go down, but volume.
Hmm.
And so just recovery takes longer and things like that. So you go, hey, I can still push hard, I can still lift heavy, I can still run fast, I can still breathe really hard, but what is my recovery like? And so now you can really start looking into those things and know what is going to keep me moving and keep me having fun and doing the things that I really want to do, how I want to do them.
Hmm. Which is funny. I'm realizing it comes full circle of like you get to this point and it's like, do I really want to be in pain when I bend over to pick up my kids?
Right.
You know? And I mean, that's the experienced lifter and that brand new person as well.
Yeah.
Like finding that balance of like, okay, I feel good. Maybe I'm a little stiff, I'm a little sore, but it's not like, oh boy, gotta get the socks on.
Right.
you know? Uh,
We were just talking about that today. So we did deadlifts and burpees yesterday, and I'm feeling a little bit sore, but I'm sore but not incapacitated. And
yeah.
there's been plenty of times where I've been like almost incapacitated. You're like you look at stairs and you're like that's not happening right now. And um, those are things that I don't necessarily want to do very often or necessarily ever anymore.
Yeah.
But I will have to say that I love the feeling of sore muscles. And again, as long as I'm not incapacitated, where I just go, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, hey, touch that again.
Yeah.
I I feel like it lets you know that you did something. It lets you know that you're still moving, and the fact that you can still do things, I think it's great for your mindset to just go, yeah, that like I feel that like it's not necessarily this hurts,
Yeah.
right? And you just go, no, that's like my muscle was worked, I'm recovering,
Yeah.
I'm
Does
doing all right.
Here's a question. Does a massage or a lacrosse ball or a foam roller feel good
Yeah,
or is it like painful to the touch?
yeah, yeah, and I think that that's a huge just mindset shift that
Hmm.
it's okay that you can feel it.
Yeah. And yeah, I feel like this it follows this curve of brand new person. You need to feel that soreness and not be incapacitated so that you can be consistent. As you're into that first year or two, you're probably going to push yourself into that painful, incapacitated spot. And
Mhm.
then you're going to realize that that's not fun and you don't have to do that. And then you
Yeah,
become that experienced lifter and you're like, okay, enough is enough.
I love it. Yeah, actually, I think that's a great way to leave it. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, yeah. So, uh, like Eric was saying, if you guys, so tell me again about your program.
Oh man, it was awesome. So we just ran that first group, helped some dads clarify their goals, consistently hit their goals each day. They created a new normal, which
Mm,
is awesome. Doing more things and having more time. So if all that sounds good to you, like I said, at Eric McGathy on Facebook and on Instagram, shoot me a message and I'll get you set up. Starting the next group mid-May. So
cool.
yeah,
And that's Eric, Arik.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, special one.
All right. You guys, we'll see you guys next week for Do That But Better. Have a great week.
See you later.